What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and this is a Week 18 Steelers at Ravens recap. And, the Ravens not playing any of their starters. No Lamar Jackson, no Odell Beckham Jr., no Zay Flowers, no Marlon Humphrey, no Kyle Hamilton, among others. Like, the Ravens have already clinched the one seed in the AFC, so they're resting their starters. They don't want to get anybody hurt. No Roquan Smith as well, the heart and soul of the defense. So they don't want to get anyone hurt going into the playoffs. So a big opportunity for the Steelers to go into Baltimore in a rainstorm and find a way to win a big game and stay alive in the playoff hunt and try to backdoor their way into the playoffs. It's been an up and down, bumpy kind of year for the Steelers. But if they can find a way into the playoffs, that'd be crazy. Again, Mike Tomlin, 17 years as a Steelers head coach, has never had a losing record. At worst 500 and 9-7 going into this game. So, growing up, Ravens Steelers, one of the best rivalries in football, and still is. You knew this wasn't going to be an easy win for Pittsburgh. They get out to a 7-0 lead. Ravens tie it, so it's 7-7 at halftime. The Steelers are able to pull away to win 17-10, but it wasn't easy. A lot of fumbles, a lot of it was hard to hang on to the football, hard to catch the football. A lot of running the ball and playing defense, and trying to limit the turnovers. Mason Rudolph has, through injury, really stolen the starting job away from Kenny Pickett. I believe even if the Steelers get into the playoffs, Mason Rudolph is going to be the starter, not Kenny Pickett. The Steelers' offense has struggled for all season long up until recently, and scored 30 points, 30 plus points in back-to-back games with Mason Rudolph. So you see the offense start to open up with him. Rudolph throws for 152 yards, one touchdown, one fumble lost. The Steelers only scored 17, but it's enough to get the win. And like I said, a rainstorm. Najee Harris combines for 133 yards and a touchdown. And I've been on his side the entire season, like feed Najee Harris. Like a lot of people, a lot of national media, different people are pushing the Jalen Warren narrative. Even Louis Riddick in this game was saying how he thinks Jalen Warren is the better running back. I don't. Najee Harris, especially in this type of game, especially late in the season, December, January football, you need a running back like Najee Harris. And the Steelers agreed, and they feed him. He goes for over 100 plus and a touchdown, and plays a big role in this win. Deontay Johnson, 4 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. The biggest play of the game came on a touchdown pass to Deontay Johnson, a big one, and that put the Steelers up 14-7 with that play. That was the one big play of the game. George Pickens, surprisingly, with 0 catches in this game. I believe he had one run, which was for like 2 or 3 yards to pick up a crucial third down. But besides that, George Pickens was not involved in the offense in this game at all. And it was funny because you're playing in a rainstorm. And two things that jumped out to me was the fact that Dan Orlovsky's on the broadcast, and he sucks. I'm never excited when Dan Orlovsky's calling the game. I don't think he's any good. I don't need the 0-16 Lions, backup quarterback who ran out of the end zone and gave himself a safety. I don't need him telling me about the game. And then so they're down there in the red zone, and they're up 14-7, and the clock is coming down. It's late fourth quarter, and Orlovsky keeps pushing and pushing, saying, "Oh, you should throw a fade to George Pickens here. Throw the ball to Pickens. Get him involved." And it's like the last thing the Steelers want to do in this situation is anything risky, anything that could result in a turnover. I just run the ball straight up the middle, run it, and kick the field goal because in that spot, in that position, a field goal, any points on the board is much more important than anything else. Just no turnovers and get points on the board. So the Steelers agreed. They ran it 3 times, kicked the field goal, go up 10 points, 17-7, 2-score lead. The Ravens are able to get a field goal. And in that position, Orlovsky's like, well, that's what the danger with a 10-point lead is, it can become a one-score game real quickly. Yeah, so can a turnover in the red zone can be a one-score game right then and there, and then you allow the team to tie. So I'm very much on the kick the points, go up 2 scores, keep the pressure on the defense or on the opponent. So yeah, and then on top of that, it was rainy, so the ESPN camera was like blurry at times, and it's like ESPN can't do anything right. We got a blurry camera and Dan Orlovsky talking to us, so I didn't enjoy that. But a big win for the Steelers. George Pickens not that involved, but Najee Harris was. Tyler Huntley got the start for the Ravens, 186 yards and a touchdown, no turnovers. Gus Edwards runs for 48 yards and a fumble lost. Nelson Aguilar, 5 catches for 39 yards. The Steelers win their third straight game and improve to 10-7. They need so they're in position to make the playoffs, but they need either the Jags or the Bills to lose tomorrow on Sunday. If both of those teams win, then the Steelers miss the playoffs, even though they went 10-7. Bills play at the Dolphins, Jags play at the Titans. So they'll be watching those games closely. But Mason Rudolph, the narrative to end the season is key here. Mason Rudolph comes in for an injured Kenny Pickett and wins the final 3 games to put the Steelers in position to make the playoffs. So Mason Rudolph 3-0 as a starter to end the season. It'll be interesting what the narrative is, what the Steelers do this offseason at the quarterback position. Kenny Pickett has struggled, not looked like the franchise quarterback they were hoping he would. Um, and do they go and sign a veteran? A guy that the Steelers could add would be like Russell Wilson. And imagine Russell Wilson in this offense with Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth. So we'll see if they go and get a veteran quarterback, maybe move Pickett to backup or Mason Rudolph to backup. We'll see how that unfolds. Um, TJ Watt was tied for the lead in the NFL in sacks. He records 2 sacks in this game tonight to get to 19 sacks. He's got a 2-sack lead, leads the NFL. The bad news is TJ Watt suffers a knee injury. Initial tests indicate that Watt suffered an MCL sprain, and that's a multiple week injury. So, really bad news for the Steelers here. Even if they make the playoffs, they'll likely be without TJ Watt. So, tough news there. Uh, the good news is he likely avoided an ACL tear, but um, still injured his knee, and that's the bad news. The process. So Ravens, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs as the 1 seed, 13-4 record, and Lamar should be unanimous MVP, and we'll see if Lamar Jackson and this Ravens team can go to the conference championship. Lamar's never been to a conference championship. Go to a Super Bowl, and that's Lamar Jackson's singular focus is delivering a championship to the city of Baltimore, to his teammates, to the Ravens franchise. So we'll see if he can get that done. We'll see if the Steelers can backdoor their way into the playoffs. But no, TJ Watt is a big loss. Also, Jadeveon Clowney records a sack in this game, earning him a $750,000 bonus. So it was cool to see Jadeveon Clowney get that and him all excited and dancing on the field about that extra money earned. So a fun game in Baltimore, great rivalry, Steelers Ravens, and the Steelers get the win 17-10. And we'll see if the Steelers can get into the playoffs. We'll be watching closely tomorrow, Sunday, week 18, and can't wait for the playoffs. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a great week, guys. Peace out.